this job, the specific items that we're going to need are about 1.5 litres of ATF Dextron 3, which is the equivalent of the original Ford spec oil, a drain vessel of some description that will take the old oil, some side cutters, a couple of cable ties, a plastic sheath of some description. In this occasion I'm just using an old component bag, and something that's 7mm in diameter, and this pen happens to do the job. And you pop the pen inside the plastic sheath, and that will then go up inside the tail of the return pipe that goes to the reservoir. Other than that, you just need a couple of support stands and your jack, and of course a wheel brace to get one of the wheels off. So here's a comparison with the power steering fluid, and it gives you some kind of idea about what it should be and maybe what it could be and what the problems can be. And let's give you an example. I bought this car with 218,000 miles on the clock, quite a lot, and the oil that came out of it 9,000 miles ago looked like this. It's pretty yuck. It's brown, it smells like it's burnt, which is typical of old hydraulic fluids. They smell like that. And of course, look at it, it's quite kind of thin and horrible. The power steering, it was noticeable how it would be kind of a little bit heavy, a little bit feelless sometimes, and also, very tiny little bit lumpy possibly. I changed that 9,000 miles ago, and this is the oil that literally just metered some out, as you've seen. You can see that, as I say, that's already done 9,000 miles. I did a thorough change last time with exactly the same method as this time, but wasn't happy that I would say the thing was completely clean through. And as you can see by the state of that, yeah, it needs to be done again. And this is the new oil. That's a lovely rosé or cherry red if you like, and you can see by the way it hangs on the side of the container, it's got plenty of lubricity. This pipe here, we need to release this pipe from its clips, and there should be a cable tie. And just there is the pipe release, and this will actually split the pipe. Now, this part of the pipe here is the return from the rack, which would normally feed up through into the reservoir. But of course now what we're doing is we're going to split that, so this will drain off from the reservoir here, and then we're going to block that. So when we put fluid in and run it through the rack, it then won't feed back down and run out. So we need to bring a vessel in to drain into. What I'm using here is just my regular sump drainer. Now we need to split that. Split the line and you just squeeze it together. There we go. Now at the moment that's just draining off what's in the reservoir, and what we do is we'll just let that drain off for a minute, and then we'll start the process. The critical one will be this pipe here, and that's where the fluid's going to come out of once we're doing the run through. To block the return hose back to the reservoir, I've just put a pen in, which is about the right sort of size, with a little plastic bag over the top of it, just to ease it in so it doesn't damage the seal. It measures it around about 7 mil, so you could potentially even use a drill bit, but I would definitely go with some form of soft sheathing over the top of that. So now it's just a matter of filling up the reservoir. Make sure it's not leaking. And with that set up, we now just need to turn the steering wheel backwards and forwards all the way back. Check the reservoir, still plenty in there. Back again. And back again. It's very important not to get any air in the system, because then you've got to bleed it out afterwards. So always a good idea to just keep it topped up as you go. And there's the stuff coming out. And as I said at the top of the page at the very beginning, they vary a little bit, but realistically you're looking at about 1.5 litres of oil to run it through. Plenty left in there. You remove your bung, reconnect the pipe. This is very easy to do, not so easy to do single-handed while filming it, so that's why it's already done. And then all we need to do is put some new cable ties in here and here, and then strap this pipe back into place, and make sure the reservoir is set to the correct height. So the final part of the job is to bring the car back down to earth again with the wheel on it. Check the level in there, make sure it's up to at least the minimum. Put your cap on. Very important that you put your cap on because it comes up under pressure. Start the engine and rotate all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and back to centre. Turn it off. Come back to your reservoir and have a look. And this one's settled beautifully. It's actually between the minimum and the maximum. And that's it.